Hey there, it's Walt, and look who's back.
It's Anne.
It's starting to be a thing.
It's getting to be a thing. It's starting to be a thing.
It's what's nice to see you.
Thank you.
We were talking on the morning run about resistance. Yeah, it was like that.
It was something awful. Like I heard the wind howling past the house and I thought to myself, it didn't come out of my mouth, I don't want to go out today.
Yeah, and so resistance, of course, comes in physical form. You know, a lot of people pay a lot of money for the training we had on a morning run, the resistance training. I mean, that's we could package that. In fact, I think we have a $9.97 program for that. No, but that's not the point of this blog. But resistance is a physical reality. I mean, it's inertia. It's like gravity. An object at rest remains at rest, and it shows up in so many different places in our lives.
Yeah, it's like we don't want to get started writing the book. We don't want to get started building a business. We don't want to go out and run when it's crazy outside. We don't want to exercise, whatever it is. We don't want to get started on something that's going to require of us.
So one of the things that gets in the way for so many people who have great ideas, who want to make their vision real in the world, who want to achieve their goals and dreams, is that they want to argue with resistance, because resistance doesn't seem like resistance should be. We shouldn't.
So I'm running up the hill and I think to myself, it shouldn't be this windy. It shouldn't be this hard. It shouldn't be like this. Like you're railing against reality.
Yeah, and you lose about 100% of the time when you rail against reality. So resistance, so the first step is just to realize that resistance it's part of our lives. It's not something that is coming out of the blue. It's just part of the fabric of our lives. It is it's like gravity. It's inertia.
You will experience resistance.
Yes. And so then the question becomes, well, okay, I can acknowledge, maybe I don't like it, but I can acknowledge that resistance exists. So what do I need to do about it then? How do I overcome it? Well, in physics, an object at rest remains at rest unless there's an opposing force. And so we actually have to create that force in order to overcome resistance.
Yeah, so for us, we made a decision years ago, and I'm sure we've talked about this before, that we don't ask ourselves the question, do we feel like it? It's just, we just step out the door and we carry on with life. You may make the decisions like, okay, I'm going to write a book. You don't sit and revisit. You sit down and you just face into it and you take that first step. You write that first word. You do that first phone call if you're building a business. You just do that first step despite you really not wanting to do it.
So oftentimes for us, and we do have this rule, and the rule is a really good rule. We don't ask, do you feel like it? Because the answer is no most of the time. It certainly was on that run, it was no. But the hardest steps usually are the lacing up the shoes and hearing the wind blow. The hardest step really is opening that front door and going out, and then you get in motion and your body feels a little bit better. And it's the same thing in writing, I think, too.
Yeah, you know, the first 10 minutes you're struggling and then all of a sudden it starts to click into place. So the takeaway being that it's the action that comes before the feel like it. Like the folks, and we're included, I mean, we include ourselves in this, that feel like motivation is the first step before you do anything. It's actually the opposite. It's the action. It's taking that step that gets you motivated, that gets you okay with facing into your resistance, overcoming it.
I really like that, because motivation is vastly overrated, particularly if you have these big visions for your life. Most times we're not motivated, and as you say, the action comes first, and then we've overcome the resistance, and when we're in that place where it begins to flow, even when the wind is blowing, we're feeling better and we're actually making progress toward our goals. So number one, acknowledge and accept that resistance just is. It's something that's part of the fabric of our lives.
You're going to feel it.
And then to overcome it, just take that first step. You don't have to take on the whole project at once. You don't have to take on the whole book, the whole race, the whole course, the whole email sequence. Just take that first step. And then resistance will begin
to sputter away. It'll blow with the wind.
Coming back to the first.
Coming back,
Yes.
coming back. We're framing it.
Make it a great rest of the day, great rest of the week. Talk soon.
Bye, guys.